But let's do a super quick recap on the challenge this week, what we've done. We've reached out to someone to get some feedback about what others think are our best qualities. We've tracked the biggest success that we've had at work this month so that we have that data to take into those pay raise conversations. We've gotten comfortable being uncomfortable, and we've asked for a discount. And let me know in the chat how you went with that. I really can't wait to hear from you. And today's part of the challenge is all about reaching out to someone. And one of the things that we talk about, we have an entire module on this actually in the 8-week live career level up program. We have an entire module on relationships, right? Because ultimately where I want you all to get to is to be in a position where you've actually got job offers coming to you, right? You've got job opportunities coming to you. You've got board opportunities coming to you. You have things coming to you so that you actually have choice. And when we have choice, we know that we have, frankly, more confidence and more leverage when it comes to negotiation, right? Because you've got more options. So it's not like if you ask for something and you get told no at one company, you don't have anywhere else to go. I want you to be in a situation where you always have plenty of other options. So today, what you're going to do is you're going to connect with someone. And if you want to stay accountable to that, let me know in the chat who you will be connecting with, who that person is. But I want you to think about someone who can cheer you on in your career. So it might be someone who is a mentor for you or who is a mentor for you. It might be someone who was a boss, a great boss that you had earlier in your career. It might be your existing boss, right? I want you to reach out and connect with someone today and make a commitment to actually catch up with them. So you might need to arrange a meeting with your current boss, right? To talk about your compensation and your future within the business. If you're pretty happy where you are right now and you want to get paid more, that's a great step for you. If you're job hunting and you kind of feel like you want to go somewhere else, I want you to reach out to one recruiter today on LinkedIn. That's all you have to do is reach out to one recruiter, send them a connection request with a specific detailed message. You know how on LinkedIn you can press connect, but add message. I want you to add a specific message. And then the other thing you can do is, you can never have too many people in your corner, right? And that's why today's exercise is actually really valuable. So I want you to message, if you're kind of thinking, I just want to sort of build my network more broadly, I don't have enough people that I connect with on the regular, in my industry and related fields, I want you to connect with someone in your industry, right? And I want you to reach out to them with a specific career advice question so that it's easy for them to respond to you. The reason you're going to do that is because you're going to start to build a relationship with that person, right? So I want you to think about which one of those steps is appropriate for where you're at in your career today. Let me know in the chat whether it's boss, recruiter, or an industry person. And that's all you have to do today. So you might have to put a couple of minutes of kind of thinking into today's challenge. And then all you have to do is reach out to them on LinkedIn or send them a super quick email. Doesn't have to be fancy, nothing like that. I just want you to take the step to build that relationship. Because when we have great relationships with people in our industry, and when we connect with them regularly and we talk about hacks and ways that you can actually build this in so it's super easy, not to forget, and so it's kind of automated to an extent. We talk about that more in the Career Level Up program. But what I want you to do today is just start to have those wheels in motion in your mind that it's actually really valuable for you to have people that you're connecting with regularly, that know what you're interested in, that know what you're doing at work, that know what you want to do with work. Because when you've got quality relationships with these people, you can reach out to them and say, how much do you think I should be paid for this role? Do you know if there's any openings at XYZ company? I've been offered this package. What would you do if you were in my shoes? I can give you an example of something that happened to me super early in my career. I was studying full-time in Brisbane, doing business and journalism, and I got offered a full-time job when I hadn't graduated yet. And I was kind of like, I feel like I should graduate. I feel like that's a good thing to do. So I was like, oh, wait, no, but it's a full-time reporting job. That's pretty good. I probably shouldn't turn that down. Anyway, my dad said to me, why don't you reach out to the woman who was your boss when you were an intern? So I'd been an intern at Channel 10. And I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. I was just an intern. And he's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? And as we all know from day 3 of the challenge where we asked for the discount, the worst thing that can happen is someone either doesn't respond to your LinkedIn request, they don't respond to your email, or they don't take your phone call. That's the worst thing that happens, right? So anyway, back to younger Meggie, I reached out to the news director of Channel 10 where I had done an internship. And I was like, hey, I really respected you when I did my internship. I've got this job offer and I just wondered whether you'd be open to me giving you a call for 5 minutes just to get your advice. So I was like 20 or 21 or something. I was very young. And she was super nice. She was like, sure, give me a call. So I gave her a call and I was like, look, I haven't graduated yet. It's kind of important to me that I finish my last year of university. but there's this full-time job offer and I know it's hard to get jobs in journalism. What would you do? And she was like, leave it with me. And she actually called me back 24 hours later and she offered me a job full-time in Brisbane. So I didn't actually have to move away. And she gave me 2 mornings off a week so that I could actually still go to lectures and I could actually still graduate. So I wanted to share that example. That was very, very early in my career, but it is an example to say that when you ask the question, when you put things out there, you just don't know what might come of that. So if I'd never reached out to her and asked for her opinion, I would never have had that full-time job, which would mean I, would never have done all these fascinating things in my career. So, the other thing to remember is that people actually love to help people and people loved to be asked for their advice. Everyone has an ego. That's the reality. And so when you ask people for their advice, 9 times out of 10, you'd be surprised. They'll often write back. Not always. Sometimes you'll get rejected and that's fine. But often people will write back. Or they might say, listen, I don't have time for a phone call, but I'm happy to email respond to you with any specific questions you might have. So there's actually ways that you can start to build that relationship. So I want you to do this challenge today. I just want you to reach out to one person. If you're not sure who that person should be, let me know in the chat and I'm happy to sort of live brainstorm with you. But take that step. And ultimately, I'd love you to sort of build more and more and more relationships, which we spend a lot more time on in the Career Level Up program. Because, as you get more senior in your career, so many of those senior job opportunities are never advertised. They're never advertised, right? And we know that more than half of jobs are never advertised in the first instance, and particularly as you get more senior. I actually just yesterday, I'm in the final rounds of interviews for a board position. I have no idea how they got my name, no idea. I'm 99% sure that someone has put my name forward. I kind of maybe think I might know who that person is, but I'm not sure. But because there's a bunch of people on that board who I have personal relationships with, professional relationships with, so it's possible that one of them put my name forward, which, is going to potentially give me this great opportunity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to have an impact, et cetera, et cetera. So, building those people around you, building that crew of cheerleaders who's like, Angel, you're so good at this. I want to keep you in mind for, becoming an advisor to this startup. Or like, Bobby, I really want to introduce you to this new company who's going to be recruiting in 6 months in the European office. I think you'd be great for that. Or Celine, you and I have spoken over the years. I feel like you're underpaid. Why don't you let me bring you across to the company where I'm working? You'd really love it. And I get a recruiting bonus. That's the other thing to remember is that a lot of people, big companies will offer a bonus to the person internally who refers people for jobs if someone gets placed in that job. So let's say if I was hiring at PepTalkHer and if Kim on my team suggested Gladine for a role, and if I hired Gladine, I would actually give Kim a bonus because it's cheaper for me to give her a bonus than it is to pay a recruiter. So that's the other thing. Again, never be weird about reaching out to people on LinkedIn for, unofficial kind of interviews about what it's like to work at their company, because there are situations where it actually financially benefits them to put you forward. So we talk about this in a lot more detail in the Career Level Up program, but I want to give you a taste of that today because it's a really great tip that will truly hold you in good stead for the rest of your career. That woman that I mentioned, the news director, who I called, like 15 years ago now to ask for advice about that job that I was offered, she's still a mentor today. And I probably still talk to her twice a year, something like that. And I know at any point, day or night, I can reach out to her and she will come back to me like that, because we've built that relationship over the years. So I want you to have those people in your lives because it's truly transformational. And what will start to happen is things will come to you so that you then have choice. And you're like, I'd never even thought about moving overseas, or I'd never thought about transitioning into the tech industry. But all of a sudden, these opportunities will be put in your lap. So that is the challenge that I have for you today. As I said, we're going to take a 24-hour rest break because it's good to do that. And then we're going to come back with a masterclass that I'm going to be teaching you all on Monday, North American time, which is Tuesday for those of you in the Asia Pacific region. And I'm going to talk you through the system, the Clear, Compton, Confident system, which is going to really help you get from where you are today to that $10,000 pay raise. So I'm going to break down the specific steps that have worked for the hundreds of students that I've worked with in the past through the Career Level Up program. And then in terms of the program itself, the final live course that I run for the year is launching next week. So keep an eye out on your inbox. If you want any more info, you can send me a message on that too, but I'll shoot you some emails with some specifics about that program. So that's a program where it's pretty different, to be honest, to the challenge, but it's very detailed. So every week for 8 weeks, we have a different module that we cover. So there's an entire 2 modules on negotiation. There's an entire module on building your network, right? Building that really specific network. We talk about diving deeper into your values and your strengths so that you're very clear on what is specific to you that you add to the workplace that no one else can compete with, right? And we get you to lean into that so that you find those jobs where you kind of become pivotal in the company, right? So we talk about that in a lot more detail. We talk a lot about also building your personal brand in a way that doesn't feel awkward and uncomfortable for those of you who kind of hate the idea of that. And we talk about how you can actually do that in a way that's going to get you the jobs that you want and frankly, the pay that you want as well. So that course is launching next week and you'll graduate before the end of the year. So, you know, perfect timing to kick off 2023 with a bang, which is exciting. So you spend every week with me for 90 minutes. So we have an hour of curriculum and then I have an open Q&A for 30 minutes as well. And then you get to meet the other women in the cohort too, which is really cool. So, you know, like, for example, the last program, there's people from Zendesk, TikTok, Salesforce, small law firms, big law firms, marketers, a couple of small business owners. Actually, we had people who work in the council, all sorts of different careers. And it's really for people who have had at least 5 years experience. A lot of people in the course have had sort of 10, 20 years experience, but at least 5 years of work experience who are really wanting to make a transition and a step up in their career. Like, so if you're kind of looking to get to that next level and take that next big jump, it's really a program for you. That's who it helps the most. And typically we would see, you know, Hanya in the program got a $57,000, I think it was $56,000 or $57,000 pay increase. A lot of people transition industries. We had someone who went from retail to tech, which was so cool. She never thought she could make that transition, but it's because she didn't understand her transferable skills. So by identifying her strengths, we were able to break that down further so she could actually see where she could add value in any industry. Frankly, she could have gone into engineering or mathematics. It wouldn't have mattered, right? But just how do you parlay that so that it translates into those other industries? So that starts next week. So I'll send you some info on that too. But today, all you have to do today is take that first step and reach out to someone. So let me know who that's going to be for you. And if you've got specific questions, feel free to jump off of mute or pop it in the chat. And I'm happy to get to as many of those questions for you today too. Any questions coming up for anyone? Angel, anything your end? Nope. Cool. Celine, enjoy that cup of coffee. I actually do smoothies. I don't drink coffee, which is a bit strange, but don't hold it against me. I drink smoothies and water. So boring. Mary, go and get some sleep. It's the middle of the night for you in Germany. Celine, enjoy that coffee. Thanks for joining. Bobby, Bonnie, Gladine, Helen, Kelly, Mary, heaps of people. So good to see you. Really appreciate it. We're going to take a break for 24 hours, as I said, and then we'll be back for the final 2 finale sessions of the challenge, which will be the start of next week. And we'll be still tallying up all the points so that we can also announce who's going to get the scholarship next week as well. So make sure you tune into those. We'll send you an invite to that on email. And then if you've got any questions, just hit me up on the Facebook group or via email, because I keep an eye on that every day, obviously. So yeah, great to see you all. Enjoy that coffee, Bonnie. We'll see you soon. Thanks, y'all. Bye.